So I went to a con dressed as a character from a pretty obscure series. I ran into a group of cosplayers from the same series and I went up to say hi. One girl was wearing the same character as me. She started crying as soon as she saw me and ran away. One of her friends told me that I had to change because her friend shared headspace, whatever that is, with the character I was dressed as and couldn't wear the costume because it was very upsetting for her to see anyone else wearing the character. I thought they were nuts and walked away. A few hours later, another one of the girl's friends tried to report me to con security for stealing the character and costume. I spent 20 minutes wasting my time trying to explain who I was wearing and what these people were, which was nuts. Every time this group saw me at the con, they would yell at me and their headspace friend would just run away to the ladies' room. These people tried to ruin my weekend, but I wouldn't let them. They're probably still around and still crazy. I had a friend come out of state for this convention in my town, and she stayed with 4 of her friends and her friend's boyfriend, while I stayed at a hotel with my friends on the opposite side. We hung out for a while, and this guy, who my friend knew since high school, asked her out at the con, and she rejected him, stating she wasn't emotionally ready to be in a romantic relationship, and we thought he had just accepted it and gone on with his life. Wishful thinking. She and I separated because she had to change into her costume, and I really wanted to do the Ruben Langdon panel and autograph line, so I walked with her back to her hotel room so she wouldn't get lost, as she was out of town and I'm a local. About 10 minutes after I got my autograph, she gives me a call and she sounded so frantic. She told me that the hotel congregate, if I'm saying that word correctly, called her room and asked if a guy was her roommate. The guy was the same guy she had rejected earlier that day. The guy actually told the congregate that she was her roommate and that he had lost the key card to their room. The thing is that if you lose the card key, you would either have to pay for the replacement as well, as the congregate would either need to either pull up her name to find the room number, and if he was a roommate, he would ask one of the 5 roommates before asking for a replacement from staff. He actually tried to get into her hotel room while she was in there. I am forever grateful that the hotel people for contacting my friend to confirm it before they were even thinking of handing him a key. I never ran so fast in a ball ground in my life, and I didn't even care that I ended up ripping it. We had hotel staff call the police, and we contacted convention staff to keep an eye out for him. He was escorted off property because he didn't actually cause harm to anyone, but he did get his membership revoked. We also had to explain to her roommates that we needed her out of the room in case the creep tried to come back. She ended up staying with me and my friends for the rest of the weekend. So I'm female. I often cosplay Hetalia, which is mostly male characters. This last con I went to, this girl ended up coming up to me, dressed as another Hetalia character that is often shipped with another one I was wearing. I posed for pictures with her, and then she asked to kiss me because it was her OTP picture. I told her I didn't want to kiss her. She slapped me across the face and called me a homophobe, a gay hater, and a bitch. Her friends recorded this, put it online. I've gotten a lot of hate mail and nasty comments about refusing to kiss her. So I've been going to cons since 2012 and staffing them since 2012. I've had a lot of behind-the-scenes stories about how crappy the staff are and about some attendees. Now, back in 2013, I was going to a small convention in Omaha. It was about nerd culture in general. I was roped in to be staff for Thursday before because I knew some of the staff members. I was helping the guest of honor, but while she was in her panel, I was trying to relax in the video game room. My friend was running it and told me he couldn't figure out why there was a funky smell in the room. It was very pungent, to say the least. Think like garbage mixed with wet dog. But we smelled around, and to my surprise, it was an attendee. He was your typical con goer. A bit overweight, food stains on his shirt, very greasy long hair, just overall very dirty. His smell was so bad that you couldn't get within 5 feet of him. Like, there was a little ring of people around him trying to play Super Smash Brothers. So I did what any normal college-age guy does when someone smells bad. I Febreze it. I'm not sure if he noticed or not, but he just kept on playing video games as the tiny Febreze droplets rained down on him. I sprayed enough to mask the smell, but it just smelled like a skunk going on a hot date. He eventually left, but the smell lingered. It was embedded in the chair. No one would even sit in it. We closed down the game room for 15 minutes to try to get rid of it, before we just removed the chair entirely and told the hotel staff about it. I'm pretty sure they threw it out. This is the part where I'll start the Q&A. If you're not interested, feel free to just skip to the end of the video or go and see another one of my videos. Links or even it'll be on the screen, whichever I can get to. But to start the Q&A, let's start with Lemmy S. Kelton, who actually had 3 questions. Number 1, which anime fandom do you think has the worst reputation? Ooh, that's a hard one, 'cause if we're only going by anime, like there's Evangelion, who actually had fans send in death threats to the writers and stuff like that, way back when. But if we're sort of going for anime-esque, as in things that were anime but are now sort of like gotten a redub or a redo in like America or things like that, Voltron. Definitely Voltron. But if we're talking anime, Evangelion way back when like that was like almost before the internet, sending handwritten letters of death threats. Yeah, Evangelion's pretty high up there. Hitalia's half and half. It's mostly just full of weeaboos and stuff like that, but it's mostly full of children, and most of them grow out of it and things like that. So, yeah, it's a toss-up, really. Number 2, pineapple on pizza. I think I've only tried it once. It's okay, depends on the type of pineapple you're using. On, like, if you end up cooking it and the pineapple ends up like super dry, that's nasty. You want juicy pineapple on your pizza, but I'm a half and half type of person. I usually just prefer cheese. Number 3, why is your name Vivid Barnacle if your picture is of a clamshell? It's actually a really silly story. I couldn't actually come up with a new name for my channel. My name used to be Pokemaster1, yeah. That's pretty cringy. That was made all the way back whenever I was still like in middle school and stuff like that. But I wanted a new name to rebrand the channel, and I couldn't come up with one, so there was this website to make Homestuck chum handles, like, you know, those little names that they would use to identify them and stuff like that. So I just kept on hitting rehit until I found one. And then I decided for the clamshell simply because I thought it looked cool after I put the sunglasses and the little bow tie on him, as opposed to like a barnacle. I don't know, just the clamshell looked more cool. He looked more dapper. But thank you for your questions. Next one comes from Kaya the Nerd. Hey Vivid, I've been watching your vids for about 6 to 7 months, and I'd like to know, where did you get the idea to start telling people's con and anime fandom related stories? I really like the concept. Also, another question, do you think you're going to who do you think you're going to cosplay next? Tripping over my words. I sort of got the idea from actually just reading them. I was on Reddit and things like that, and I was like reading through these things, and I found them extremely relatable. And this was around the time whenever people reading and narrating like creepypastas and stuff like that were really on the boom and getting very popular. So I thought, well, if people are reading these stories and, you know, the Green Text 4chan stories, then maybe there are people reading these stories. So I looked it up, and there wasn't really anybody reading these stories. There's some people like who would occasionally tell their stories, or they'd interview people at cons about their stories, but it was nothing like very specific where they'd have people enter their stories in, or like just read these kind of stories out loud. And I thought that wasn't like, I don't want to say it's not very fair, but like that I was very disappointed. So I decided, well, I don't really have anything to do because I was still in between like school and work, and really didn't have much to do and like when I had all this free time. So I'm like, sure, why not? I'll do it. And as for who do I think I'm going to cosplay next, I'm actually hoping to cosplay as Snake from Junie Tyson, as well as a mystery cosplay that I'm still working on as well. So I'm already working on 2 cosplays, but I'm hoping to get them done by September for Colossal Con East. So if you or anybody else ends up being there, keep on the lookout, especially like on my Instagram, because I'll be letting you guys know I'm there and shooting some videos. But thank you. And then I just got a comment from Marlena Oritz. It sounds like me when I cosplayed as Lucy during one convention when it froze over at night and was freezing my butt at the mini skirt and no sleeved shirt. Oh my. My teeth were chattering when we reached my fiance's home, where I told him to open the door so I could rush in and put on my PJs and get under the covers to warm myself up. Yeah, I get that. Like, the convention center in Pittsburgh, like, if you ever go to Pittsburgh, there's this river that cuts straight through it, and the wind that comes off it is cold. Like during the summer, it's very pleasant, because the wind that comes off it, like, it's nice and cool, cools you down, stuff like that, and especially when, like, it's a pretty good biking kind of city when it's in the summer. But whenever it's, like, spring and winter, and that wind comes off that river, especially when you're in a very more bare costume, like Junkrat, and you're on a rooftop, like a rooftop that maybe I can't even tell you how high it is, like maybe 4 or 5 like levels high. Yeah, it gets very cold very quickly. Thank you for your comments. Well, thank you guys for your questions. I hope this didn't take too long, because I know some people don't really like the questions after the thing, but thank you guys so much. I'm gonna ask you guys a question. What conventions are you going to plan to go to next? Like I said, mine is Colossal Con East in September, and I hope I get to meet you guys. I'm gonna try to hand out buttons like I did this year at Techo, so keep a lookout for that. But yeah, that's the one I'm headed to this year. Which ones are you guys headed to? Hope to see ya and hope to read your comments. Bye! Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more, don't forget to hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit that little tiny bell icon. It gives you notifications for when these new videos come up. I also have a link for my Tumblr, which you can send your own stories to that I will read, and I also have a Twitter for any time there's notifications for the videos, or I can just talk about stuff, anything, whatever. It's basically a shit posting Twitter. But anyway, the links will be in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!